What's going on? It's Chris, Will, and Kurt from Lifter LMS. We're going to get started here in just a moment. Got a presentation for you today on how to build a learning management system with WordPress in 2023. Stay with us. We're going to start in just a second. And if you're here in the watching this on social media or live on the stream, go ahead and drop a comment. Let us know where you're calling in from. Just drop a comment. Say where you're calling in from and what you're looking to learn most from this presentation. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to welcome everybody to the call. We're going to talk about WordPress and building learning management system websites in 2023, whether you're a course creator, you're a coach, you're a business, you're a school. It's all relevant to you. Maybe you're a WordPress professional or agency owner that provides support to the e-learning industry. We're going to hook you up today with all the modern best knowledge, live demo. We are going to record this, so be sure you're registered through the register link, and we will get you the replay video. So if you ever want to go back and watch again or see a certain part, you can. Or if you have to jump early, just know we're going to be sending out the recording. But you do have to register, and we'll put a link to that in a little bit on where to register in the chat so that you're on the replay list. So this is going to be an interactive session. So I would encourage you to use the Q&A, ask questions, whether you're on social media or here on the StreamYard. We're going to be doing a presentation. We may take some questions as we go, but we'll have a more in-depth Q&A session as we get towards the end. We've got San Diego, California in the house. Cara's calling in from Vermont. Welcome. Yeah, keep letting us know where you're calling in from as more and more people are jumping on the stream. I'm going to share my screen with you and get this party started. And before I do, just a heads up, I'm going to be letting you know about a coupon code that you can use, which is webinar15. So if you're looking to pick up Lifter LMS and get a 15% discount, use the coupon code webinar15. And just a quick side note, that's only relative to today. If you're watching this live on March 21st, 2023, today is the last day of the Lifter LMS lifetime sale. There's only a few licenses left. So we'll put a link in the chat on where to pick that up. If you're interested in picking up the lifetime deal, you can also apply that coupon code webinar15 to that. So check that out. And I'm going to jump into the presentation. Let us know in the chat as we get going what your biggest challenge is with building an online learning website with WordPress, or what your burning question is, so that we can be sure to get to everybody before we get off this call. Love seeing people from all over the world. Here we got Finland, South Africa, Scotland, Sweden's in the house. Welcome everybody. Let's get this party started. All right, so I just need confirmation. You guys can see my screen, right?
Boom.
How to build a learning management system website with WordPress using the best LMS technology in 2023. We're going to go over some trends, some use cases, some technology. We're going to cover it all. I'm Chris Badgett, the CEO and co-founder of Lifter LMS, which is the leading learning management system for WordPress. We launched back in 2014. It's been quite the journey. We've helped tens of thousands of course creators and e-learning entrepreneurs and WordPress pros launch their businesses. I'm joined by the amazing Will Middleton and Kurt Von Ahnen from the Lifter LMS crew, and we're here to hook you up today with all the knowledge and questions to kind of get you pointed in the right direction for your learning management system website. So again, that coupon code is webinar15. You can use that to save 15% on anything we offer over at Lifter LMS. So head on over to lifterlms.com in a new tab or after this presentation and claim your discount. So we help a couple of different types of people here. We help what I call builders. These are the WordPress professionals, the marketing agencies, the e-learning agencies that support clients that are, building online courses or membership sites for experts, or online schools for schools, or any kind of e-learning application for businesses. We also help what I call starters. These are the do-it-yourself innovators who are, building an LMS for themselves, their business, or they're just, kind of taking it on for themselves, their first time for a client. So just that DIY person who likes to get into the technology, figure it out, and launch an LMS website. And then we've also get a lot of people flooding into WordPress, flooding into Lifter LMS from hosted solutions like Kajabi, Teachable, Thinkific, Moodle, Udemy. These are people who have kind of seen the light. They realize they want to own the platform. They want full control of the LMS, and they they want to switch to all the freedoms of WordPress. And we also have a lot of people switching from other tools in WordPress who want a more powerful, fully integrated, better supported, stronger community supported LMS. So there's a lot of people that are kind of switching into Lifter LMS from other technologies. I'm going to hand it over to Will to kind of go over some of the other, some examples of the types of users in our community here.
Absolutely. And
oops, sorry about that.
I think
there we go.
Cool. Here's
my bad, I clicked the wrong button. We're just getting the screen back for you. There you go.
There we go. Cool. Well, thanks, Kurt. This is by Kurt here, sharing his screen. We're going to take a look at the case studies page. This is the Lifter LMS case studies, like Chris was talking about. Some great examples of Lifter LMS users in our community who have really found success in their platform and their niche. These are some epic stories of Lifter LMS users. So we definitely recommend checking this out, lifterlms.com/success. But let's highlight a couple of case studies on this page real quick. Like Chris was talking about, there's a few different demographics of people who use Lifter LMS, and there's KPC. We could take a look at her story, Kurt, if you want to click read the whole story there. Kay is a member of our community. You may have seen her in our Facebook group. She creates courses around ActiveCampaign and how to use ActiveCampaign and the marketing automation power it has for any type of business, including online courses and stuff like that. And she runs her courses with Lifter LMS, her ActiveCampaign essential course, and her free course lead magnet. Her whole program is run, I believe, by Divi as her theme, and then she's using Lifter LMS as her LMS within WordPress. And she's just a great example of a power user of a tool. She has like this strong expertise in these areas, like Kurt's highlighting here, the ActiveCampaign WordPress sort of space. And she took that expertise and built out an online course business using Lifter LMS to share that. So there's a whole story of how she put everything together, how she utilizes Lifter. So be sure to check that out if you want to read that in full detail. But that's a great example of the expert archetype coming into Lifter and finding success with it. And I wonder if we have the builder sort of people. There's Kurt as well on the page. And I guess we have Angela Brown, and Ziv is a good example as well. If we scroll down, we have Ziv and Michael Wiley. They're some awesome experts who created courses in various areas. This is the Ziv Raviv case study. He is sort of a serial entrepreneur. You may have seen him in our Facebook group as well, creating all sorts of businesses with Lifter LMS. He helps other people with their online marketing and stuff like that. So there's all kinds of archetypes on the case studies page. Ziv actually, I think his flagship project with Lifter was the balloon school. I can't remember exactly what it was called on the page there, but he teaches experts who go to children's parties and they blow like the balloons and tie them into dogs and all kinds of even extreme more fancy stuff than that. You can see in some of the pictures that's like a dress the lady has on built completely out of balloons. So he teaches people the extreme balloon arts, and he's got a few other websites as well. So he's like the serial entrepreneur type. And yeah, so those are a few case studies, and these stories are really incredible. So we recommend checking it out, lifterlms.com/success for some really epic stories. I could just go into detail for like hours. We could do a specific webinar of Will just going off about all of these awesome case studies. Like Michael Wiley created, it was about fixing up and flipping, I believe it was like trailer
mobile homes, yeah.
Yeah, and so he's got a great community in Lifter LMS built around the entrepreneur real estate sort of hustle. And he's another active member in our Facebook group as well. So be sure to check it out, lifterlms.com/success. We've got videos and epic stories of how these entrepreneurs utilize Lifter LMS in their platform to make their business come to life and reach their audience.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Will. So we looked at kind of the builders and the starters and people switching to Lifter LMS from other tools. I want to go over a couple trends now that's happening in the learning management system or broader online learning industry. The first thing is that online education is going super mainstream. It's not new. Online learning, distance learning has been around for a long time, but it's really accelerated, especially in the past 5 years, due to a lot of factors that we're going to go over related to some other trends. The e-learning industry is projected to be a $300 billion industry by 2025. That number's actually gone up. I don't know what this statistic was from research done in, I believe, 2019, but the pace of e-learning has actually accelerated even more. The global pandemic education system disruption and what it did inside the economy have also just created higher demand for online learning opportunities, not just in schools, but for adults looking to learn or events that are happening online and all of that. We've got internet connectivity or 5G on the rise. If you're on this webinar, you probably have a decent internet connection, but it's important to remember that there's still huge amounts of people all over the world who are just now getting enough internet connectivity and access to mobile devices and internet and strong enough internet to be able to, play videos and things like that that are popular in e-learning. So the actual number of people moving online is growing exponentially. And we've got tool accessibility. So if you ask kids these days, what's the number one thing they want to be when they grow up? YouTuber is one of the most popular answers. And through our smartphones and other just audio, video, computer, tablet, lighting equipment, it's never been easier to create e-learning content and e-learning businesses or projects online. The tools have never been more affordable, even free, and also accessible, where many people can access the technology you need to make online learning happen. And I'm going to get into some use cases here. So the main ones are kind of at the root of it all is what I call just the basic online course. So an online course is the fundamental building block of what's possible in the learning management system. There's a lot of different use cases. Some people just have like one main online course. So this is a picture of one of our customers. Her name is Esther. She created an online course that helps virtual assistants or people who are military spouses launch careers as virtual assistants. So she created an online course with a clear target market. When we interviewed her several years ago about her project, she was up to over $50,000 a month in this niche, teaching military spouses who have their unique challenges because they move around a lot and it's hard to, hold down a certain location job and stuff like that. She kind of opened up this huge career opportunity and showed people how to do it online. So that's the online course. The next use case for a learning management system is a training-based membership site. So this is where we have courses, but you can also put other stuff inside the membership site. Like this is one of our customers, Melissa Love, who's well known in the Divi community. If you've been around WordPress for a while, she has courses in her membership site, but she also has a library of PDFs, Canva templates, other resources for designers. She does live virtual events. You can see in her calendar of events, she's negotiated special deals for her members. That's what perks are. So really you can put anything, other kinds of content and benefits inside of a training-based membership site if you want to go bigger than just courses, or you want to bundle courses together, say. The next is the course marketplace concept. So WordPress 101, known as WP 101, is, I believe, one of the largest WordPress education sites on the internet. A course marketplace means there's multiple instructors on the platform. I think Udemy is the classic one that people think of when they think of a course marketplace. But WP 101 has courses taught by different instructors on the platform about different popular tools in WordPress. And I'm going to hand it over to Kurt to go a little deeper on the story of WP 101 before we head back to some more use cases.
Hey, thanks, Chris. I know you guys see my screen share there, the WordPress tutorial video for beginners. WP 101 is just one of those like standbys. I recommend a lot of my clients to go check that out when they need kind of a foundation on how WordPress works. And so having a marketplace is cool because, like Chris said, you can have more than one instructor that loads their courses up. And then in a lot of cases, people that want a course marketplace like Udemy, which I believe was valued at over $3 billion last year, you want your instructors to be able to sell the courses and then do a revenue share off of that course marketplace. And so if we take a look at WP 101, we can go into like WordPress tutorials and you'll see it's not just one course, it's a whole list of courses that people are able to jump into. So you could do an intro to WordPress and you can go right into that and you can see, okay, how long is it going to take? What's the difficulty? Everything's there like the LMS puts out for it. And just like any other Lifter LMS powered training website, all of the features are there. But this site is set up so that other people can contribute their courses to the marketplace as well. So as you start to go through the site a little bit, you'll start to see different instructors and different places that the training material actually comes from. And of course, everything's set up on the course and the lesson layout so that people can pick and choose what they need to do. The other thing that is cool, let's see if we go into About Us. No, that's just text. Hold on. Testimonials. That's where I wanted to go. Testimonials is one of the best ways to market a course marketplace. And so when you go to testimonials, you can start to see some of the famous names in WordPress right here, like Chris Lemma and people like that have had a really good experience on the site. And so when you have a really good crowd, really good testimonials, and a really strong foundational product like Lifter LMS, you can find a lot of success in what you're trying to accomplish. I think that wraps me up.
Awesome. So that is the course marketplace use case. Another one is the education-based marketing and onboarding, which this is where the course, the membership is not really the main part of the business. We're just using courses to educate our businesses, prospects, and customers. So this example we have up on the screen is a popular CRM for WordPress and marketing automation tool called Groundhog. And they use Quick Start course to both show prospective customers how their tool works and also educate new customers on autopilot about how to use their tool, which reduce the demand on their support and helps their customers be more successful in an automated way by having those learning tools in place. They're also using courses here to create a certified partner program and more. So you can use courses for businesses, not necessarily as the main product, but to actually support the business in other ways. The classic example, which we'll talk about in a little bit, is internal training, which is right here. So if you had let's say you had a warehouse, you needed to train forklift safety to all your employees, you could start with some online training that everybody had to complete. And we also have curriculum providers who do things like create construction site training or electrician training, and then they provide that curriculum to companies who then they provide to their people. Then we have an add-on at Lifter LMS called Groups, which makes it possible to kind of distribute your curriculum to group buyers like companies. We can get into that later. If you have any questions, just let us know in the chat. And please do fire up the chat with any questions you have about anything. We're going to get to everybody and not leave anybody behind. The final use case is online schools or remote schools. You know, that can be a traditional school, elementary, middle, college, graduate, continuing ed, higher ed, or non-traditional schools for, maybe some really interesting niche. There's all kinds of different schools or academy ideas that are possible with a learning management system. So the problem in the LMS landscape is that a lot of people end up creating what I call the software Frankenstein. This is trying to combine too many tools made by too many different companies that weren't necessarily designed to work well together. You want to avoid that. If you've had experience with that, let us know in the chat. The other thing people do is they end up not monetized. We see this, it's very common on YouTube, for example, somebody with all this knowledge to give away all this value, but not figure out how to actually monetize what they know. Another big problem is content theft and low engagement, where people sign up super excited, but then they kind of fall out and never return to your course again. And then the big one that we see in the industry is with certain LMS tools, especially hosted solutions, you end up kind of running out of room to customize your platform. It's not very flexible, and you end up being trapped and potentially charged more and more money as you get more successful. We call that a success tax. So those are the biggest problems. But my promise to you today, when you look at WordPress and you look at Lifter LMS for your learning management system, is we're going to show you how to unlock creative freedom, sell and maximize revenue, protect your content, engage your learners, and connect to anything, all the tools you already using or want to use. So there's 3 big ideas I'd like you to hold in your mind as we go through the rest of the presentation here. First is think about, as much as you can, having an all-in-one solution to avoid the software Frankenstein problem. Think about not just providing access to content like videos, video lessons, but providing a learning experience that's more than just information, that really creates results for your learners. And then the ability to connect with anything. There's a lot that goes into a learning experience and building an online business or online learning company or organization. So that's super important. So the top benefits of working, what it's like to work with Lifter LMS is it allows you to create, sell, engage, protect, connect to anything. And I'm going to start by kind of diving into what it's like to create with Lifter LMS. One of the biggest innovations we have is our course builder, which allows you to organize courses from one screen. I'm going to hand it over to Will in a sec to demo this, but the big idea here with learning management systems is it's all about structured data. You know, as an expert or a subject matter expert or a teacher with something to teach, or a membership creator with all this stuff, how do we organize that into a learning path, and how do we stay organized as a course creator? And that's what the course builder does. So I'll hand it over to Will.
Sounds great. And Kurt's assisting me here, pulling up a screen share. We did have a question in chat I wanted to highlight real quick because we're actually going to talk about this in my demo right here and in Kurt's demo. And that question is, can you set time limits for access to learning content? The answer is yes. You can do that in 2 ways. Kurt's going to do a demo here in a few minutes around access plans, and you'll see how you can set a time limit for length of access to the course in that demo. And here we're going to take a look at the course builder, which has another sort of time built in. So you can see here Kurt has his course list pulled up of all the courses on the website, and each of these has a builder on it. And we can click builder on any of these courses, and it'll take us to, like what Chris was talking about, the structured data. This is like our sections, and then within these sections, if we expand, there's the lessons. So we have section 1 has the lesson 1 course welcome, and we kind of have our course built out in these section and lesson hierarchies. And each of these lessons you can edit, like Kurt's hovering over, you can see that open WordPress editor. That's going to launch a new window where you can add your text, your PDFs, your videos, all that kind of stuff into your lesson content. But this builder area is where we build out the actual structure for what it's like to go through the course. And I think, Kurt, can you click on the little settings icon for any of these lessons? Awesome. So that pops up over on the right-hand side here. Settings for this lesson. You can see there's a video embed URL. We can do free lesson, require passing grade, all kinds of settings. As an instructional designer, you can build out your curriculum. And as far as timing related to this area, like you can see there's the prerequisites where you can say you need to complete lesson 1 before moving to lesson 2 if you wanted to do that. So like on screen here, Kurt has prerequisite course welcome. So that means in order to access the lesson with quiz that we're currently editing, you do have to complete lesson 1 first. And so you would go down your course and add all your prerequisites if you wanted to do that. But then there's also the drip method. The drip method on each lesson, this is what relates to time, where you can have lesson 1 or any lesson drip out on a specific date. So you can say that this lesson becomes available here on the 23rd of March in our example at a specific time. So if you have a bunch of people going through a course in a cohort, you might want to use this setting to say this lesson becomes available at a specific time, or you have number of days after enrollment. So maybe this is like a 20-day after enrollment thing. So you get lesson 1 immediately, but then you have to wait a few days in order to access the next lesson. You could set it up that way. Or even a more complicated example, number of days after prerequisite completion. So you could say you have to complete lesson 1, then wait 3 days, then you can start lesson 2. So there's all kinds of time you could build out as far as the instructional design aspect. And the course builder goes way beyond just setting up these sort of time rules. Like we see here, we have the assignments. If we want to give a student an assignment like upload a file, maybe it's like an art course, a course oriented around art and design, you could have students upload a file, an MP3 of them singing. You could do a task list if you want them to go knock out a bunch of requirements. You could set up a task list assignment. And like we see here, write a new WordPress webinar. So if you're building a course teaching other people how to create their WordPress webinars, that would be a good course for us to make. We can make a task list where people would check that off. There's the upload type we were talking about there. And then there's also quizzes in the Lifter LMS course builder. If we hop over here to the quiz builder, the quiz builder allows you to work with all kinds of interesting settings and question types. If your course involves quizzing students with multiple choice, picture choice, true, false, all kinds of options for how you can quiz your students. And it's very common to see in courses, like even if the quizzes are not essential to the foundation of how the course works, like maybe it's not a required quiz, you could still have optional quizzes just to test students on the material. It's pretty common on course marketplaces like Udemy to see like a 3-lesson quiz. You can create that same setup with Lifter LMS and even go above and beyond with long answer, short answer, reorder items, all kinds of options around the quiz system. So that's a high-level overview of the Lifter LMS course builder and how you actually structure the data like Chris was talking about in your course within Lifter. And this is all within the backend of WordPress. What we're looking at here is on the backend of your WordPress website. So once you install and activate that Lifter LMS plugin, you'll have access to structure your lesson data in this way using the course builder.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Will. So we were looking at the Lifter LMS course builder and creating courses from one screen. By the way, one more pro tip, there is a time limit you can set on quizzes as well, so you can really get into the nitty-gritty of the user experience of your learner. But you can also create any kind of training, excuse me, or business model. So Lifter LMS has memberships in addition to courses. And one of the cool things about memberships is you can bundle courses together. You can include access, like we showed, to Melissa Love's membership site, to other types of content or benefits outside of the actual courses, which then, if you do so on a recurring basis, allows you to create recurring revenue or recurring value for your customers. So really, you can create any kind of business model. You can create a unique brand and design. So unlike hosted platforms where, you know, all the sites kind of look the same and maybe there's the logos changed out or you can change a couple colors, with WordPress and Lifter LMS, you can build a truly unique brand and learner experience. There's really no limit to the customizability of what you can create and the unique look and experience that you can create. All that on a platform you can own and control as well. You can also create client compliance flexibility. So if you need to require people to agree to certain terms, or you need people to fill out an application, like an application enrollment flow, or you need to require people to like digitally sign something, all this is possible with WordPress and Lifter LMS. You can also create unique enrollment your way. I'm going to hand this over to Kurt in a second, but this access plan interface is what allows you to create any kind of business model or pricing model, all the way from like a simple free course or a simple one-time payment to a more complicated like trial with like recurring payments and 12 months of access or lifetime access, and it's on sale. All that stuff is possible through the access plan engine. So I'll hand it over to you, Kurt.
I don't know, Chris, you might have set those expectations kind of high, man. That's a lot of stuff to cover.
Well, there's a lot of pricing models. There's a lot of things people could do. So
yeah, I remember back when I was a customer starting out with Lifter LMS before I joined the team, it was the flexibility of the access plans that was like super, super attractive. So access plans are available for both courses and memberships. I saw earlier in our comment string, people were asking, are there membership tools available with Lifter LMS? And yeah, it comes right out of the box. And so whether you're looking at memberships or courses, there are access plans available for both, and they're structured nearly identical, right? So let's take a look at some of the access plans we have on this course right here. Now, this one here is listed as, courses only. We have it listed as a visible access plan, which is kind of cool to know. You could have hidden access plans. And then if you look at the top left of that box, there's a purchase link. You can copy that purchase link and you can send that to any one of your customers as like some kind of special opt-in or unknown or secret or whatever you want to have with another community. So that's kind of a cool way to build access without having to actually promote that on your page itself. This one's set up at $200 every month, but you could set that up to be every 3 months for quarterly pricing. You could set that up annually. You could have that be a one-time payment so that you don't have to worry about recurring payments. And that really, again, lends you some flexibility. If it was a course with a one-time payment and they had access to the course for as long as your website was in existence, this would be the setup that you would have. It would be the $200 one-time payment, lifetime access. But let's say we want to do recurring payment, $200 a month. Look at Will go. Will's doing an awesome screen share for me. All right, but we want to do a trial offer. We want to do, let's say, $1 for 14 days access, right? We can go down to the trial offer. And we can enable that. We can say the price is $1 and it is for 14 days. And what that does is similar to the stuff that gets us all looped into our subscriptions like Netflix, is it gets someone into the fold for $1. 14 days later, they're going to be automatically billed for the $200 every month for the rest of their lives or until they cancel, which is kind of a fun way to do that. We've got courses with group coaching just beneath that, if we want to open that one up. And if we take a look at this one, it's courses plus group coaching. If you look at the pricing model that we put into the sample, that's because we're really big on the good, better, best pricing models, right? So we have different packages and different ways to offer those packages. If we were to get out of this share and look at the course page, we would see the pricing tiles, and that'll give you an idea of what we are creating when we are creating these access plans. So the first example we showed has disappeared.
I'll have to switch over to the end here, share screen.
But what we were looking at was the pricing tiles, and the pricing tiles enable you to have a different offer that's offered to different folks. So you can see the courses plus group coaching, the $1,000, right? And then the courses plus private coaching, $3,000 a month. And then if we were to go further down into access plans, above the access plans, I just want to touch on this one more time. It wasn't really part of this actual chat, but we had the sales where the course is available date, and I just wanted to show people the timing. There we go.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
right. So
hop over to the course real quick.
Here we go. Yeah, and I wanted to show folks the restrictions. So the enable enrollment period, the enable prerequisites, enable course capacity, all of that gives you a way to limit access to your course based on either time or size of class. And we're only mentioning that now because it came up as one of the comments earlier. It wasn't really part of the scheduled talk, but that's where you would set those parameters so that you could schedule the actual date and time that you would like to launch your course. This is a really great tool. I got excited. Sorry, my voice went up. This is a really great tool for, it is totally acceptable to start to build a course, market a course, and build revenue while you're still completing the course. So you could put the whole syllabus in through the course builder. You could build your whole outline, have an idea of what you're going to do, build your access plans to start selling the course, and then you could have the course start 30, 60, 90 days from when you start promoting it. That's a really good way to build revenue and do a proof of concept before you invest a bunch of hours and time.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for taking us through the access plan system. It's super powerful. It's one of the most powerful parts of Lifter LMS. I just want to take a pause here for a moment and let us know, wherever you're watching this, drop a comment of what you're most excited about. What have you learned? What are you most excited about? Or what question do you have? Because we're going to get to all that at the end. And it's always nice to hear what resonates with people as we go. So drop your biggest takeaway and we'll keep going. So you can create enrollment your way through the powerful Lifter LMS access plan engine, but you can also sell. So WP 101, like we mentioned, you can package and monetize. This is a multi-instructor platform. You have individual courses, but then you have this global membership that gives you access to everything. You can also not just sell courses, but also generate leads. One of the best forms of marketing is a great product. And in the course creation space, or the coaching space, or the online learning space, one of the best marketing things you can do is create a free course. Will's going to demo the Lifter LMS Quick Start course in a second. But for us, this isn't just an idea. This is what we do. We get a lot of leads, and our email list grows for Lifter LMS software primarily through the official Quick Start course for Lifter LMS, which is both free and it works well for people who are investigating the tool to see if it's going to be a good fit for what they want to do. But it also helps our new users and customers learn the essential, 10% of Lifter LMS so they can get started quickly without running into the classic areas of what they need to learn to get started. So over to you, Will.
Awesome. And there's Kurt with a quick screen share. He's ready to go. This is the Lifter LMS Quick Start course. And this is really kind of the best place to get started. If you're new to Lifter LMS, we just did a demo of the course builder. We're talking about access plans, and this course talks about those things. It's about a 1 day long course. You can see in the information there, and it really covers everything we're talking about here, but in more depth. It goes into the demo. It shows the front end. It shows the back end. It's a great presentation by Chris talking about everything from what is Lifter LMS, what is a learning management system, all the way into like how you can set up your payment gateway. And so this is the best resource that we recommend. Me and Kurt do a lot of pre-sale stuff. We do a lot of conversations, and this is the #1 resource for people getting started with Lifter LMS to check out. Like we saw in the course information, it takes about a day going through this course, cutting out, if you cut out 3 hours in your day to go through this course and really check out everything that's in here, you'll have a great understanding of how you can deploy your learning content with Lifter LMS by the end of it. And it'll really give you a vision of how your platform can come together. I think a lot of people come into the Lifter LMS space with an idea of, I want to create a course about a certain topic, or, I know WordPress, but I don't know how to use this Lifter LMS tool. This course is just a perfect orientation tool for anyone coming into the Lifter LMS space to figure out exactly how they can utilize it in their LMS vision to make things come to life inside of WordPress. So yeah, I think that
awesome. And spoiler alert, you're also looking at a new theme we're getting close to releasing, which is called SkyPilot, which is a new, modern, super fast theme built from first principles for the LMS industry. So anyways, more on that coming later. I'd encourage you, if you're looking at Lifter LMS, to get at least a Universe bundle, which is our middle plan, which will include the SkyPilot theme. Earth bundle is also great if you're trying to keep the budget low and just get payments rolling and get started with Lifter LMS. But SkyPilot is awesome, and it's coming soon to Lifter LMS, Universe, and Infinity Bundle customers. So jumping back, Lifter LMS helps you sell and also helps you get leads. It helps you maximize profit And one of the ways we do that is some of our premium add-ons. We have one called Private Areas, which allows you to do coaching through your website. So we looked at the access plans with Kurt, and he was showing you how to upsell coaching. But you can also deliver, not just sell the more expensive plan with the recurring $1,000 a month or whatever it is. You can create private content for individual users, like coaching, recorded coaching calls, have private conversation. We've got a community piece, which we're going to show in a little bit, in terms of creating a social learning experience. If you want to have a Facebook-like experience on your website, it's not exactly the same as Facebook, but some people don't want to send their people away to a social media group. You can actually do that on your Lifter LMS and WordPress site. And we have a tool for that called Social Learning. All these ways of adding value help you maximize your profit. Recurring revenue equals recurring value. So pro tip for you out there, one of the easiest ways to add recurring value to your online course or your membership of course bundles is to add an office hours, which is like a time box weekly or monthly call that you run for 30 minutes or an hour. It's limited to that time, and a group of people can come in and join, and you can answer their questions and help them get unstuck if they're stuck or find what they're looking for. That's one of the easiest ways to add recurring value. So just throwing that out there for you. The next thing you can do, which Kurt mentioned, is you can get paid in advance. You can pre-sell your course. You can kind of build out the outline, build out the sales page, maybe have lesson one ready or not. But it's very common, even in universities and things like that. People pay money before the actual start date. And that's one way you can kind of validate your idea and also keep yourself accountable and on track and producing the content, so you don't end up in the failure to launch scenario. But pre-selling or getting paid in advance is a really cool feature that's possible with Lifter LMS. You can also create engagement. So engagement, there's lots of ways to create engagement. One of the ways you can do that is through social learning. So this is where, if we think back in our life to one of the most profound learning experiences you had, I bet there might have been other people present. And it's nice to figure out a way to do that online as well. And that's why we created social learning. And I'm going to hand it over to Kurt to do a quick walkthrough of Lifter LMS social learning.
Right on. Thanks again, Chris. Social learning is one of those things to me that it really pops as a feature. I've got a lot of reasons why I'm just not all in on Facebook and social media and curated channels so much, when I could take my tribe, my audience, and kind of curate them myself in my own decentralized social platform in my own URL, which to me is a really powerful tool. So if you've got a large enough tribe and this would be a great asset for you, this is something to really check out. Now, what Will's looking at right now is the timeline. The timeline is just like the timeline of a normal social media site. Members will add comments, they'll add things to the feed, and those things will populate kind of in a what's that, last in first out kind of format, right? So it's going to be a top down thing. And so when you see something in there, you can absolutely add a comment. You can add your thoughts, just like we have there, share your thoughts, and then someone else could come along and comment behind it and say, I think this webinar is flipping awesome. I can't wait to take a lifetime deal. I shouldn't say that out loud. I don't know if there's any left. It was on a limited thing. And then so you can actually look at other things to do inside of social learning. So everyone can have their own profile page. So if we go to the community link that we have in our in the community link at the top of the menu, or if you look at it from the dashboard, you can see profile, and that'll pull up kind of a page that you can customize. You can customize the cover, you can customize the profile picture, and you'll notice it puts in your username at the top, and it also to the right side puts in all of your badges. So folks that are into gamification or engagements or badges, things like that, as people earn those throughout interaction on your site, those will also populate their social learning profile. And then again, you can see how someone can share the thoughts on their own wall and have an about section with important links that they want to link to. All of the activity that the person does inside the site regarding their courses and completions and stuff will show up on their personal wall and timeline, which is kind of fun. There's also a membership directory or a people directory, and that allows people to kind of connect with others within the learning management system. So like I said, it's kind of a decentralized kind of social media platform that you own, that's inside of your site, and builds more interactivity and more stickiness to your products as you begin to roll out more learning material.
Awesome. Thanks for that,
I didn't
Kurt.
even cover groups, but there's different ways to do all that stuff. Sorry.
No, that's good. So this is what we call the results revolution. Remember where I was talking about not just selling information, but really caring about what helps people get results. For some people, that's community. For some people, that's coaching. So Lifter LMS is designed in a way to not just sell information, but to help you or your clients get better results. The other thing that we do from an engagement perspective is we help you understand your learner. One of the things that makes a quote membership site different from a LMS or learning management system is all the detail put into like the management aspect. So part of that is the Lifter LMS reporting. So if you go into your Lifter LMS website, you can drill into like courses, memberships, orders, look at an individual user, see how they're doing in a course. You can see how they submitted a form or what they did on a quiz. And by doing this, you can identify who's excelling, who's not doing well, who's doing average, and you can help people and also celebrate with the ones that are doing really well. You can also control progress, which we looked at a little bit in the drip settings and the prerequisites. So if you want to avoid a situation where people get ahead of themselves or they get overwhelmed because there's too much inside the site, you can control the progress. You can also add gamification. So we have achievement badges and certificates. And I saw a question in the chat earlier about physical certificates. We do have a Lifter LMS PDFs add-on. And we'll do a demo when we get to the Q&A of what certificates look like, but you can make them easily portable to PDF, which then allows people to print them. You could print them yourself and mail them in the mail to customers and things like that. So gamification works at all levels, for kids, for adults, for serious courses, for more hobby or lighthearted courses. It works all the way around. The next big thing is protecting your content. So you can keep your content safe. The access plan like locks down access so people can't see what they haven't enrolled in or paid for if there's a price tag on it. We've got individual user accounts. We've got privacy controls. And I want to pass it over to Will. We also recently added some new features to help make it even more challenging for someone to take content or have content theft happen on your website. So we'll do a quick demo of that.
Awesome. And like Chris said, there's a new setting. If we navigate to Lifter LMS and then settings, it'll be in this little sub menu here under settings. And I think it should be, or it looks like we're on the dashboard now. If we go to the sub menu settings there,
the dashboard's new. It distracted me.
Yeah, the dashboard's a new thing in Lifter LMS 7.1, I think. So that's a really awesome thing. But yeah, here's the general settings for content protection, content restriction stuff. So like we're seeing on screen here on Kurt's screen, we have content protection. It's just a checkbox that says prevent users from copying website content and downloading images. I run into this all the time. So what will happen is if we have that box checked and somebody tries to highlight some text and copy paste, it's not going to work. And so that's going to be excluded with administrator, LMS manager, instructor. Those roles up there at the top are going to be allowed to copy and paste. But if you're not one of those roles, if you're a student, for example, you're not going to be able to download images as easily, and you're not going to be able to copy and paste text. It says copying is not allowed. it'll, when I do Command C or I right click and say copy, instead of copying what I'm trying to copy to my clipboard, it copies copying is not allowed. I do all the time when I'm filling out password forms and I copy and paste my email address as copying is not allowed, and then I have to retype it. It's annoying for me to run into when I'm trying to go through sites quickly, but it's a great content protection feature. You know, it forces students to slow down too and type their email correctly, which is kind of a secret feature, secret benefit of this feature. But yeah, it really protects the course content, the page content. This will apply even outside of Lifter LMS on your pages and stuff too, which is really awesome. So if you have someone coming to your website trying to swipe your sales page content, they're just going to get a message that says copying is not allowed. And they can still look at the source code and get this text if they're really going for it, but it adds another layer of security for you. And most people aren't willing to go to that length to download the images and copy the content. It adds that like extra gated layer, which is super awesome. So that's the content protection.
Thanks for demoing that. We've got privacy controls too. So if you need to, like have a privacy statement that people agree to, we've got all the GDPR compliance so that if people need to delete themselves or have you erase them off the site, it's all built into WordPress and Lifter LMS. But Lifter LMS also helps you connect to the tools you're already using or want to. And there's several ways we do that. One is Lifter LMS is built for the WordPress ecosystem. So we have integrations with a lot of the popular form solutions out there as an example. If you get the universe bundle level, it comes with all our form integrations. So like I mentioned earlier, if you want to require somebody to complete a form that has a digital signature on that, I would build that using our form integrations with one of the form tools that has a digital signature field on it. But forms are super powerful. They're the foundation of the internet. There's so much you can create with them. But there's also, I believe I looked it up yesterday, there's 58,000 free WordPress plugins on the WordPress repository. And Lifter is designed so that it's built by the most modern WordPress standards. So you should be able to take other plugins that you find useful, integrate them with your site. I definitely recommend taking a minimalist approach and not getting too many plugins going on your site. But if there's a feature you need, you can probably find a free or premium plugin, or even get something custom coded. That's the open source nature of WordPress, so that you don't have to stop until you're 100% happy with your learning management system website. We've also got Lifter LMS on Zapier so that you can connect to your favorite apps. And you can also connect to anything without limits through our advanced, robust API or application programming interface. Now, this is something that's relevant to web developers. If you're not a web developer yourself, stay with us. You may want to hire one to build a custom feature for you. But I'm going to hand it over to Kurt to go over some of the resources we have at Lifter exclusively for web developers, which is relevant to you if you're a web developer or if you've ever thought about hiring one to add additional functionality.
I actually find this humorous because I don't consider myself a developer, but let's roll through this. We have a developer site, developer.lifterlms.com, and it gives everybody every chance to play with the open source nature of Lifter LMS. So at the top, we've got code references, we've got REST API and Lifter LMS CLI, right? But if you are developing tools to integrate or to play with Lifter or to add some customization to your WordPress site powered with Lifter LMS, you've got all of the information here to really get you a great start. The REST API has full documentation on all of the different hooks and the gets and the sends and all that stuff that are required to plug into most tools. Most recently, I just had a developer help me with a project to tie the state of California to a learning management system that automates user sign-in and then reports course completion and certification to the state of California so that people can be bartenders. And so when you think about how that actually works and how quickly we were able to make that a success, that was a big win for me. I really enjoyed that project. Getting involved in our coding standards and seeing that we are built at a very, very high standard in the WordPress market And then, of course, being able to interact with other developing professionals in GitHub is something that I think is really, really attractive. As I said at the beginning, I am not a developer, but I work a lot with developers, off channel. And it's really, really awesome that with Lifter LMS, we don't have to ask a bunch of weird questions without answers. We're able to point people to a resource and at least get them going in the right direction, which is something I really appreciate.
That's awesome. Thanks for that, Kurt.
No worries.
So that's the ability to connect to anything without limits. As a reminder, we're landing the plane here. We're going to get into Q&A in a second. Will's got a presentation coming on putting it all together and doing a quick demo on building a course from scratch. But if you're liking what you're seeing and you've stayed this long in the webinar, we've got a coupon code for you, webinar 15, that you can save 15%. And I just want to ask you if you can see yourself using a LMS in your business. Can you see yourself using a tool like WordPress and Lifter LMS to achieve whatever you're thinking for an online course, training-based membership site, or really any kind of online learning? We're going to do a quick demo here, and then we're going to do a Q&A. So if you have any questions or want to dive into the nitty-gritty on specific features and whatnot, we're going to do that. But I'm going to hand it over to you, Will, to do a quick demo to see what you can do super fast with Lifter LMS.
Cool. So you just mean like putting together kind of like a course outline and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Awesome. So we have Kurt sharing the screen here under Lifter LMS in the back end of WordPress. We add this course panel, just like you would add a page or a post in WordPress. You can add a course, and courses have a title up here at the top. This is our webinar with Magic Will Middleton. That's a pretty good that's a pretty good name. Webinar with Magic Will. And so we can fill out all kinds of content related to the course, but functionally we've just created a course and it's ready to go. Basically, we have a course with no access plans, no lessons, but we have a title. So we kind of have our established course post type here. Now we're over here in the course builder. Let's add a section and then maybe a few lessons to it. And this is where you'd really want to get into the instructional design aspect. Maybe you have a spreadsheet. Maybe you're thinking about the quizzes and the curriculum. If you have a YouTube channel or have people asking questions in social media around certain topics, this is where you would fill out, the instructional design aspect of the course outline. And I'm not big on the instructional design aspect of course building. There's all kinds of aspects. I think there's like 5 hats we talk about a lot, and I'm going to try to rattle them off, but I might miss a few. So we have the instructional designer, the technologist, which is the person who's going to be working with the REST API and all that kind of stuff. And then we have the community builder, the expert, and
the entrepreneur.
So those are the 5 hats. And so instructional design is one of those hats. And that's really the methodology and way of thinking about how we build courses and what our lessons should be structured. How many lessons should we have in each section, all that kind of stuff. That's really where the instructional design hat comes into play. And you can see Kurt here in the background putting on his instructional design hat and filling out this syllabus with, the content here. And I think that's an important point to emphasize, is actually the value of instructional design. Throwing up a course is not just about putting up the content on the internet. It's about curating it and creating an experience for the learner. And so that's something I know Kurt has done a lot of work with in the past, is instructional design work, figuring out how we're going to structure the course, how long should lessons be, what kind of content should be included, on all that kind of stuff. So this is an example of just a pretty good getting started course. And one thing I might recommend on your courses is over in the right-hand sidebar there's that option in the general settings to, if we go to lesson at the top, there's allow comments. If we scroll down a little bit to discussion, allow comments. Getting feedback from your users via social learning from Lifter LMS like we described, or even the comments on lessons, is a great way to figure out what kind of content you could make. And so I like to leave comments on for lessons so we can get feedback and figure out what other kind of content we should make, especially for free course lead magnets. It's a great way to find that out. We can add a featured image to our lesson, and this is the lesson editor. We haven't taken a look at this yet. This is where we have our mark complete button and our next and previous tiles, and where we would actually add our text, headings, videos, and all of this kind of content into the lesson itself. And this is another area where instructional design comes into play, is when people pull up the lesson, what is their experience like? How are we going to design that? So instructional design is a super valuable skill set to have as an online course creator somewhere in your team or your course creation stack. And like we see here, Lifter LMS is leveraging the course, or not the course builder, the block editor. Lifter LMS uses the block editor, so you can see Kurt putting together headings and images and paragraphs on the screen. And if you've used the WordPress interface before, this will all look super familiar. This is just like a page or a post in WordPress where we can put together any kind of content, and we can do columns, patterns, all that kind of stuff that you can do in the regular WordPress pages. You can do inside of your lessons, and even extensions like cadence blocks up there at the top. If you have a block pack or something like that from a company, those blocks will work on your Lifter LMS lessons too. And I know we've had a few questions in the chat around Divi and Lifter LMS, but yeah, like what we see on screen here, you can really do a lot with the block editor. We like to encourage people to use the block editor, stick as close to WordPress as possible. But if you did want to use something like Divi, Elementor, Beaver Builder, Brizy, all those other page builders, you can activate the builder on lessons and courses. But you'd want to use short codes. You'd want to make sure you have your mark complete button in there, all that kind of stuff that comes in the native WordPress out of the box. Like what we're seeing on screen here, our mark complete button's already there. Our next and previous buttons are already there. So integrating with a page builder, especially for a beginner, can be a little bit more complicated. So I'd recommend maybe creating a course with Lifter LMS with just WordPress out of the box, like we're doing here. And then once you're familiar with how Lifter LMS is functioning, maybe you've taken the Quick Start course and created a sample course of your own, then launch your page builder on the lessons. So you fundamentally understand how Lifter LMS lessons and courses work, and now you can take it to the next level by incorporating a page builder into that design process. I just recommend usually taking that in 2 steps to make it as easy as possible. So we first establish familiarity with Lifter, and then we establish familiarity with integrating Lifter with something else.
That's awesome. And I'm just going to take a quick tour and grab the screen of, we were building a course really quick, but if we jump in, I just want to inspire your imagination of some of the different ways a course could look and some of the things inside. So this is a course here on young retirement. And we go into the first lesson here, classic video lesson. When you hit mark complete, it moves you on to the next lesson. And this is a lesson with a quiz. So just to show you a quiz really quickly here, we start a quiz. We have all different types of questions. You can see this quiz has a time limit on it. We were talking about time limits earlier. So this is a scale question. This is a reorder items question. So we put those things in order. This is true, false. This is a multiple choice question, automatically graded. Lifter LMS does have manual grading options as well. So this is what's known as a picture choice. This is fill in the blank. And you can see, I think we got 100% on that one. So I'm just going to keep moving through the lessons. We've got an assignment. There's uploads and essays. This is actually a task list assignment. It's kind of like complete these steps. These could have links in them if you wanted. But that's a task list assignment. We're going to see a lesson with an achievement badge. So when you complete this is part of the gamification. So you can see how I earned that achievement badge right here, which is also going to show up on my student dashboard. We've got video content, which we've seen. Audio content is possible as well. We have a lot of people doing language learning with Lifter LMS. We can do simple text and images. You can embed PDF content like this. You can even do PowerPoint slideshows inside of lessons if you like. You can do tabbed content. like this. If you want to try to pack a lot inside of a lesson, you can kind of break it up through tabs. This is a table. This is actually a podcast that's embedded from SoundCloud. There's even interactive content that you can add through third-party services like H5P that have their own interactive elements that you can play around with. And you can also, this is an example of using our form integration to require people to submit a feedback or evaluation. You notice the mark complete button is not here. They have to submit the form in order to complete the lesson, which is a great way to get feedback from the students, or collect testimonials, and so on. So I just wanted to give a quick demo of what courses can look like when you invest some time building them out. And as we get ready to kind of finalize here, that was the demo. And I just want to ask you again if you can see yourself using an LMS in your business. And thank you for having Will, Kurt, and myself spending time with us today. We are going to jump into the Q&A session right now. So let's light up the chat with whatever questions, comments you have. We're here for you, here to answer any questions you may have. So I'll pass it over to you, Will, to MC the questions. Is there anything, we've done a good job, I know, answering people on the fly here today, but is there anything that we can answer for people that we haven't covered yet in the presentation?
Yeah, absolutely. We had one question come up about how much support is available when using and building a site with the product. And so let me get my face in frame here. I'm like kind of half out of frame, like how much support. So yeah, with Lifter LMS, we have we have industry leading support with email tickets. You can always email us if you have a license to any Lifter LMS product. We can log into your site, take a look at whatever you're seeing, and we always encourage people to send pictures and quick videos to show us what they're seeing as an issue, so we can solve those as fast as possible. In addition to that, myself and Kurt go live here in StreamYard once a week for 2 hours. We're live answering questions, just like this format, where you can ask questions in the chat and we can screen share and do a demo and all that kind of stuff. And then as an Infinity Bundle member in that Infinity level package, which is on a lifetime sale, we only have a couple of those left, but the Infinity Bundle includes access to Office Hours. Office Hours is a weekly Zoom meeting that we run where we're live in Zoom answering questions in a group chat format. And we had mentioned Office Hours is a great way in your course site to have that one-to-many relationship. And we kind of do this similar thing at Lifter, where we host our own Office Hours answering users' questions. And like you may have seen in the chat with other members, there's all kinds of questions. Can I integrate Lifter LMS with Vivi was a question that popped up. And so there might be some specific questions around that. And Office Hours is a terrific place to get feedback from myself and Kurt, and Chris is on there as well from time to time. And then also other Lifter LMS power users who may have recommendations of tools they've used. It's kind of like a mastermind sort of thing. So that's generally what the support at Lifter looks like. We also have a Facebook group. If you have a developer, we have a Slack channel. We have all kinds of different forums for support.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning, Will. I mean, it's not that we don't have the bandwidth to sit with you one-on-one and build your entire website for, 15 or 18 hours, but the resources that we provide, the video tutorials, the academy, the live 2-hour call that we do every Thursday, we work with people one-on-one through different problems they might be having. And then, we can give you resources like WP 101 or something if it was a WordPress deficiency. So we've got the resources to get you going, and we certainly don't mind helping. In fact, we kind of get a kick out of it.
Absolutely. And
we had a question from Jose, who was asking if the webinar 15 applies to the lifetime license, which that one ends today in terms of that offer. But yeah, you can use the webinar 15 code on the lifetime license. We'll link that up in the chat in a second.
That's a raise the roof moment right there. 15% off. That's sizable.
Kara was also asking, are certificates available in the Earth or Universe bundle? They are. I just want to show you the certificates are included in all the plans. It's kind of like a base feature. So let me get my screen going for you. So I'm back here on my demo site here, and let's see if this, you can see over here that there's engagements, and there's these different types of engagements. There's achievements, certificates, and emails. So I'm just looking at my certificates here. Let me see if this one has data in it. Yeah, so you can see a certificate here. This is an example, but yeah, all the plans have them. And you are going to want to have Lifter LMS PDFs if you want the ability for your users to print these as PDFs. But the base certificate, like the digital certificate functionality, is all included in Lifter LMS. I just want to see if my user here has an example. So if I go to my dashboard, you can see over here in the certificates. Yeah, this user has a certificate, and you see this save and print and sharing here. This is where you get more options down here if you have the Lifter LMS PDFs in terms of being able to, for the users to turn it into a PDF. But to answer your question, yes, certificates are included in all plans.
Absolutely.
Can I jump in with something, Chris?
Yeah.
Things come up after these calls or conversations, and then we'll see it in support and stuff. Like someone might say, you know, is it possible to host live sessions, like live workshops inside your learning management system? And the answer is like, yeah, absolutely. You could integrate Zoom, and then that short code process, when you put Zoom in your website, you'd be able to put Zoom into anything in the site. So you could have scheduled lessons, scheduled courses, scheduled workshops. I've got a fair amount of clients that are working on that program right now, which is kind of cool. And then the other integrations that we have that you know work with your CRM tools. We didn't really talk too much about automations with Active Campaign or Groundhog or HubSpot or any of those. You know, you might not see HubSpot listed as a direct integration with us, but recognize that HubSpot, WP Fusion, and Lifter connect really, really well. So don't come away from this call thinking about limitations. Come away from this call realizing that it's WordPress. Anything can work. We just need to problem solve it and get you the right plugging pieces to make it work.
That's great. I think we got through all the questions today, unless you guys see one that I missed. But I want to thank everybody for coming. Let's share some love in the comments, if you would, for Will and Kurt and myself for putting on this presentation. It was really great to be here with you today. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to jump in with us. We're here for you. If you need anything, you can always reach us at help@lifterlms.com by email. You can find us on the Lifter LMS website. Again, there's the coupon code webinar15. So if you made it to the end, you've got the coupon code. If you're looking to get the world's most powerful, customizable, best supported, independently owned and operated learning management system for WordPress, go ahead and head on over to lifterlms.com. Use the coupon code webinar15. That's it for today's presentation. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Will and Kurt, for helping me put this on, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.
See you guys.